the markets plunged, right?
Yeah, so like the biggest hit was probably, I mean, it was Nvidia. You can't really get any bigger than that. You know, they are pretty heavily dependent, or they've been riding this AI wave for quite a while, and they lost 17% in a single day, which, normal for really high growth tech companies, but the dollar amount was about $593 billion that they lost in a
Yeah.
single day. That's larger than the entire company of MasterCard. So it just disappears overnight. The NASDAQ dropped about over 3%. Microsoft was big hit too. Like Microsoft and Alphabet were, they're big into AI. Microsoft has a huge
Yeah.
investment in OpenAI in the Chat GPT. They fell
Yeah.
over 2%, Alphabet over 4%. Um, the whole semiconductor index basically tanked
Yeah.
almost 10% in the same day.
Yeah.
So it
And
was a
it's
shock.
huge, right? I mean, I think I've mentioned this before, like my boys are investors and they are long Nvidia.
Mm.
And so they certainly like came home and were like, what is going on? But I think
But
probably all of us are long Nvidia, right? Like it's
in
not
one way or
unusual,
another,
right?
yeah.
And a lot of us invest in the big tech stocks, right? You mentioned Alphabet, which is Google, Apple, even Facebook has investments into AI, Microsoft, and those are household names, right? I mean, there are over 5,000 equities out there, but most people probably can rattle off 10 or 20. And it tends to be the stuff that you guys use, right? So it's not uncommon, but it's also not diversification.
For sure. And some interesting side companies kind of sold off too, like energy companies, Constellation Energy, for example, which is a nuclear energy company. They were kind of expected to power all of these data centers that were going to be needed for all this
Yeah.
huge AI investment. But if all of a sudden you need a fraction of what you thought you needed in terms of power, then you don't need the energy source. So Constellation
Yeah.
Energy dropped 17% on the day too. So
Yeah.
for
And
sure.